Hello, good morning. So we're Saturday 11th of February and this morning we are going to need a spiky ball and 2 small hand weights, and we're going to work on the Hanky muscle, and then we're going to do some deep core work, and then we're going to bring it up to standing for functional movement. So grab your spiky ball, and just to start with, come down onto all fours on your mat. I'm just getting my spiky ball. So just to start with, I just angle that picture down a fraction. There we are. So just to start with, I want you to come onto your hands and knees. So if you have sore wrists, just come onto your fists. Hopefully that's okay. Or you can also work on your forearms, although I find this is a trickier position to do this movement. So on hands or fists, elbows straight, shift your weight back onto your knees and have a reasonably straight spine for me. We're doing shoulder protraction and retraction to start with. So your elbows stay straight, but let your chest sink down towards the floor as though you're squeezing your shoulder blades towards your spine. And then reverse that, lift your chest up. Feel as if your shoulder blades are separating away from your spine and you're wrapping your shoulder blades towards the floor. So it's different to a cat stretch, which is spine movement, flexion, extension. This is shoulder blades squeezing back and wrapping forwards. So we're going to take a few of these, and these, I like starting with these because we can check in with how your shoulders are feeling. If you can see yourself in the picture, have a look and see if, as you do this forward movement, can you see a little bit of a hunch? Can you see how I'm humping my upper back a little bit? That's what you're looking for, and hopefully you feel a stretch between those shoulder blades. And then as you reverse, your chest sinks down and you feel like you're squeezing the shoulder blades towards your spine and down the back. So you get a little bit of shoulder blade release and movement. And this was my favorite movement when I was breastfeeding my second baby, because it just starts to mobilize those shoulders and that upper spine. So we'll do a couple more. I want you to add one thing. I want you to feel as if you're pushing the mat wider. So you won't actually move your hands anywhere, but we're just adding a little bit of load. So we're looking for sort of activating or puffing up under the armpits in what I call the armpit wings. Particularly as you push down, you want to feel that wrap under the armpit wings. Let's do 2 more. Squeeze back, wrap forwards, squeeze back, wrap forwards. Okay, so remember how that felt? We're going to come back to it in a moment. But next, because a few of you said you're quite tight through the shoulders, let's do a shoulder release. Now this is quite intense. Grab your spiky ball. I'm going to get you to lay down on your back. And then what you'll do is you'll roll a little to your left side and just tuck the spiky ball in underneath your shoulder. So if I just show you from an upright position, your spiky ball is going to go in between your spine and your shoulder blade. So it's not on the spine, it's not on the shoulder blade, it's just in between. You know, in that really tight bit that we often get a little bit sore. And then what you can do, if it's really intense, you keep rolling a little to your left, or if you feel like you like that intensity, then you can really roll your ribs on top of the spiky ball. And we're going to bring the right arm. So if your spiky ball is under your right shoulder, you bring your right arm up. If your spiky ball is under your left shoulder, then you bring your left arm up. And we're just going to take overhead arms. So you take your arm back behind you and down by your side. Now, if you don't have much room, just pop your hand on your shoulder and you just take your elbow overhead and then your elbow down. So either is fine, a bent elbow or a straight elbow. And hopefully you feel like there's a little bit of massage in that area. So then what I'll get you to do is pop your hands on your thighs, lift your bottom up and just reach your bottom towards your heels so the spiky ball rolls closer up towards your shoulder blade, towards the top of your shoulder. So it's in a different position, and then we take that movement again. So the arm stretches back and then the arm stretches down. If you're working with a bent elbow, the elbow stretches back and then the elbow stretches down. And we'll take one more overhead with the arm. Really releasing the muscles where the spiky ball is connecting and then bringing the arm down. And then we're going to do one more position. So you lift your bottom up, slide your bottom closer to your heel so the spiky ball comes a little higher up towards the top of your shoulder. And if you haven't found a very reactive spot, feel very welcome to move and wiggle until you find a position where you feel it's very satisfying to have that spiky ball massaging in the shoulder. So the arm goes up and down a couple of times. Inhale overhead and then exhale down by your sides. Again, inhale overhead and then exhale down by your side. And then we're going to come off of the spiky ball. Just lay down on your back. We'll do the other side in a moment. Bring your arms up overhead and see how my hands are more over my face rather than over my shoulders. So I want your hands slightly up towards over your face. And then I want you to reach through your little fingers and you're going to reach the arms up. Feel like the armpits wrap forwards and reach up towards the little fingers. Your hands reach a little more overhead and then your shoulders come down onto the mat. And we'll take it again. So the arms reach forwards and up. You want to feel those shoulder blades wrapping around and back down. And we're going to take one more. Arms come forwards and up and then back down. Now before we change sides, please come back up to all fours. And let's try that protraction, retraction that we did on all fours. You can do on your fists if you prefer. So again, squeeze your shoulder blades back, wrap your shoulder blades forwards. Squeeze your shoulder blades back, wrapping forwards. Once more, and maybe you can feel a difference from the left to the right side. Maybe you can't, that's okay too. But we're looking to hopefully have released some of that tension in that shoulder blade that you just massaged. Let's do the other side. So I'm going to roll down with my head up the other end of the mat. I'll get you to roll to your right side or the second side. So make sure you're putting the spiky ball under the other shoulder. If you have the spiky ball under your left shoulder, bring your left arm up. If it's under your right shoulder, bring your right arm up, and then we'll take the arm overhead. That's as you breathe in, and then back down by your side as you breathe out. So remember, if it's too intense, you can roll a little towards the right side so the weight comes off the spiky ball. And if it's not intense enough, you can roll right on top of the spiky ball so you're quite heavy with your whole chest down on the spiky ball. And then let's bring your hand down on your thigh, lift your pelvis, roll your pelvis closer to your heels, and then we take it again. So the arm comes up overhead and down by your side. Or if for any reason it feels a bit vulnerable in your shoulder or you don't have room, just bend your elbow, hand on the shoulder, and you reach the elbow back and forwards. Remember, if you feel like you need to move your spiky ball into a more satisfying position, then go ahead and move it. We're going to do one last position. So lift your bottom up, roll your pelvis closer to your heels so the spiky ball is sort of quite high on the towards the top of the shoulder, and then the arm goes overhead and down. So what we're doing is working on releasing the muscles between the shoulder blades. So some of the rhomboid muscles, some of the middle traps. And this hopefully will help us get a better protraction, retraction, which is really good for decreasing neck and shoulder tension. Okay, and then let's come off the spiky ball, lying down on your back again. Again, you can bring your arms up overhead, bring your hands more up over your face, and just take a nice big breath in here. As you breathe in, can you feel like you're breathing into the space between the shoulder blades? So breathe your breath down onto the mat. And then exhaling. So we'll take that breath into the space between the shoulder blades as you reach your arms forwards and up, reaching through your little fingers. The shoulder blades slide forwards around the ribs as you inhale. And then they come back down as you exhale. Two more. Inhale, breathe into the space between the shoulder blades, reach under the armpits, reach into your little fingers, and then back down. And one more, the arms come forwards and up. And then back and down. Well done. So I want you to come back up to all fours, and we'll repeat the protraction, retraction on all fours, and just see if that feels a little easier through your shoulders. So shift your weight back on your knees, your hands are under your shoulders, and elbows straight. Just take that movement where your shoulder blades squeeze together, and then wrap forwards. And noticing how it feels as compared to the very first time we did it. Is it easier? Is there more range? Is there more stretch? Is there less stretch? Good, just once more. And then finding your middle point, we're taking an easy cat stretch. So I want you to inhale, lift your tail, arch your spine, lift your breastbone up. You're not collapsing your chest down. I want you to feel as if you're lifting your chest off your arms. That's your breath in. Now, as you breathe out, I want you to round your spine. So you take your head down, your tail down, and it's as if you're making a rainbow shape with your body here. And then we're going to reverse it. So arching your head up, your chest up, your tail up. And I always think of this as a horseshoe shape. So you're really allowing a dip through that back, particularly through the upper back if you can. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, rounding through your spine, head down, tail down, curving through the back body. We're going to do one more. Remember, you can do this on your fists if you've got sore hands and wrists, or on your forearms will work too. So one more. So we're arching, inhale, arching the head and the chest up as you breathe in. Push your hands down, feel as though you're pulling your hands towards your knees and stretching that breastbone forwards. And then reversing, so rounding now. Head down, tail down, rounding through the whole back body. So we're going to stay in this position for 3 breath cycles. I want you to breathe into the back ribs and that space between the shoulder blades. So as you inhale, can you feel the back body expanding? Now stay here, and as you exhale, I want you as best as you can to feel your lower tummy pull back from your trousers, pull back from your t-shirt, and hollow up or hug up within your pelvis. We're going to take 2 more breaths. So push your hands down, push your knees down, breathe into your back body. And then as you exhale, pull your belly deeper, pull your belly right up as if hugging your tummy right up within your pelvis. We're going to take 1 more. So breathing into your back body. See if you can feel that back body stretch and expand a little. And then as you exhale, can you feel the tummy pull as if away from your trousers? Pull right up, hugging in towards your lower spine. And then just release out of that. I'm going to get you to bring your big toes together and your knees apart, and I want to take your side cat stretch to stretch down the side waist. So if you put your right hand in front of your left hand, not on the hand, not next to the hand, but in front of the hand. And I want you to push the right hand down and then stretch your pelvis backwards towards the wall behind you, at the same time as almost creeping that right hand further forwards. And then I want you to breathe in, directing your breath into your right rib cage, and lean into the right rib cage. So hopefully you feel a stretch down that right side body under the armpit. And then I'll get you to come up, and we'll come out of the stretch, but then we'll take that stretch again. So push your right hand forwards and down as you stretch your pelvis back. You're not aiming to get your hips to your heels, you're just taking the pelvis back away from the hand. Stay here and breathe in to those right ribs. Feel that as you inhale, the right ribs lengthen and open and release. And then coming all the way back up. And let's change sides. So put your right hand under your shoulder, or fist is fine too. And then put your left hand in front of the right hand. You're going to push that left hand down as you stretch your pelvis backwards and lean into your left ribs. So as you breathe in, I want you to feel like you're inflating and lengthening the left side body under the armpit into those side ribs. And then come up and out of it, and we'll take it again. So as you stretch your pelvis back, you need to push that right hand forward. So you've got a 2-way stretch, forwards with the hand, back with the pelvis. Now lean into the left ribs and inhale, Feel those left side ribs open and expand. And then coming all the way back up. Well done. So what I'd love to do is one more little thing here. You're going to bring your feet and knees hip width. Excuse me, I think, am I going to, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. It might just come out randomly in a moment. Okay, I want you to come down onto your forearms, and you're going to put your right hand under your right shoulder in line with your left elbow. And push the right hand down, and use that push down with the hand to lever and turn your right rib cage up to the ceiling. Stay there as you breathe in. Now as you exhale, push the right hand down more and turn your right ribs higher to the ceiling. Then come out of it and we'll change sides. So put your left hand down under your left shoulder. It's in line with your right elbow. And then you push the left hand down and you use that to turn or lever your left ribs up to the ceiling. So stay there as you breathe in. Stay there as you breathe out. Can you lift those left ribs? Turn your chest more to the left. And then coming out of it. Let's take one more on either side. So put your right hand under your right shoulder in line with your left elbow. Push your right hand down, and as you push it down, you lift those right ribs really high. Holding here as you breathe in. See if you can breathe up into the right ribs. As you exhale, push the right hand down and turn your chest more. And then changing sides, so putting the left hand under the left shoulder in line with the right elbow. Push the left hand down to lever the left ribs up. Holding here, staying here as you breathe in. As you exhale, push the left hand down and turn your chest more to the left. Good, and then coming back out of it. Come back up onto your hands or your fists, and we're just going to take your normal thread the needle. So if you put your right hand under your chest, turn the palm up and reach the right hand to the left side. So again, we're doing that rotation. Push the right hand down into the floor, the back of the hand, and then see if you can lift the left ribs higher. Breathe in here. And then see if you can creep that right arm further underneath. Hang the right ribs down. And then come all the way back up. Let's change sides. So put your your left hand now under your chest and reach your left hand to the right side. You do bend your right elbow. Take your left ear towards the floor. Staying there now, see if you can breathe up into your right ribs. Stay there. Can you lever through with the left ribs a bit more? Push that left arm down to help stretch that spine. Good. And then just coming back through to the middle point. Okay, so we've done a little bit of mobility through the shoulders. I'd actually love to do a little bit of release work and stretching. Okay, so you're going to take your head to your right side and your left arm comes out. So you're reaching through your thumb. Bring your right hand up and put your right hand on top of your left shoulder. So you're just giving the top of that left shoulder a little bit of a massage. So you sort of push your fingers in, or you might squeeze with your thumb and forefinger. We so often get really tight through these upper traps. So just this little bit of stretch and release. It's not a lot, but it can help relieve that tension. Bring the arms down, but stay in the next stretch. Stay there and see if you can breathe in. Can you send your breath? Remember, we breathed into the space between the shoulder blades earlier when we were lying on the spiky ball. So as you breathe in, can you breathe into that space between the shoulder blades? And then carefully, slowly bringing your head back up, changing sides. So taking your left ear to your left shoulder. Try and keep the shoulders level. Bring your right arm out to the side. And then your left hand comes up and it massages the top of that right shoulder. Again, you can push in, you can squeeze. Remembering to breathe, and as you're breathing in, seeing if you can direct the breathing into the back ribs. Bring both arms down, stay in the next stretch, stay there, breathe into the space between the shoulder blades. And then bringing your head back up. So we're going to do one more thing here. I want you to put your hands one on top of the other on top of your breastbone. So you're going to push into your breastbone and down at the same time as lifting your chin up to the ceiling. Jut your chin to the ceiling and then waggle your chin side to side. So you're looking to stretch the front of that throat. Come on out of it. We'll do it again. Change the cross of the hand. So put the other hand on top. Nice big breath in. Exhale, push your hands into your chest, push your chest down and lift your chin to the ceiling. Staying there, breathing in. Jut your chin and then waggle your chin side to side. Okay, coming out of that, let's bring your arms up, your arms down, your shoulders up, and roll them back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. Just one more. So the shoulders roll forwards and up, and then they squeeze back together behind you. Okay, so having done a bit of release work, I also want to do your side lying rotation, which will take us into the diaphragm release. And then we're going to go into some core work. Okay, so I'd love you to come down onto your sides. You're going to actually have the option here. It depends a little bit on the amount of room you have where you're working. But we're going to do a short arm option with your side lying rotation and a long arm option, which is really good for stretching out your pec. So we'll start with interlacing the hands around the back of the head. I'm going to get you to lift your top elbow as you inhale, and then as you exhale, rotate your whole chest backwards, but squeeze your top knee down. You can even put your underneath hand on the top knee to help anchor. Stay there as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, see if you can ease into the rotation a little further, softening and easing and twisting. We've already done a bunch of rotations, so hopefully this doesn't feel too tight. Breathing in again. Remember how this feels, because we're going to come back to your start position and do your diaphragm release. So pop your top hand on top of your side rib cage and slide your fingers down under the lower border of the ribs. And I want you to massage the lower border of the ribs. So where your upper abdominals meet your lower ribs, you're massaging that line there. So this is where your diaphragm lives, in up under the ribs. So if this is the first time you've ever done this, I suggest being quite gentle. You can even work with a feather light touch. I still find that this has some impact. You know, if you've done it with me before, lots of times you can create a little hook with your fingers and really firmly massage in to the diaphragm. But if this is the first time you've done it, sometimes it does feel a bit uncomfortable. The diaphragm gets really tight at the end of pregnancy, and so one of the first things I tend to do postnatally is help women understand how to release the diaphragm so they can feel like they get a better breath in, but also the diaphragm coordinates with the pelvic floor. So it's really important in terms of core health, pelvic floor health. Let's hold the fingers at the base of the lower ribs and almost tucked in under the lower ribs. We're going to take 2 breaths here. So I want you to breathe down to where your fingers are. As you inhale, can you direct your breath to your fingers and feel as you inhale the fingers get pressed out from under the ribs. Breathe in a bit more and then exhale. Let it go. We'll take 2 more. So breathe down to where your fingers are. Can you feel the diaphragm pushing the fingers out as you inhale a little more? And then soften off. See if you can tuck the fingers deeper. Once more. So breathing down to where your fingers are. Feel the fingers get pushed out from under the ribs as you breathe in more. Breathe in more. Breathe in more. And then exhale. Soften off and let it go. We're going to take another twist. So I'll get you to interlace the hands around the back of the head. This time as you lift your elbow, can you breathe down to where your diaphragm is? And then shuffling your head backwards to the back edge of your mat, you rotate your chest. And hopefully it feels easier or more range. Stay here as you breathe down into that diaphragm. And as you exhale, you can put the underneath hand on the top knee to help anchor the knee. But as you exhale, see if you can soften those ribs further back. So hopefully there's more range or it feels easier and less tight. Breathing in again. and then coming back to your start position. And this is where we're going to take a long arm option if you have the space. If you don't have the space, just repeating with the elbows behind the head. If you have the space, stretch your top arm out so it's in line with your shoulder. You're going to lift the top arm up, turn your thumb so your palm is facing your ear, and then we take that twist again. So we turn the chest as if towards the ceiling. You can put the underneath arm on the top knee, and you feel hopefully more of a stretch in the front of your chest, in your pec. Maybe it's in the front of your arm, maybe it's even in your wrist or hand. The aim is not to get the hand to the floor, but to stretch that hand and the top knee diagonally apart from one another. So let's breathe in here. Breathe down into that diaphragm. Now as you exhale, stretch the top arm and top knee further apart. Breath in again. And then coming back to your start position. Well done. Roll onto your backs. Before we change sides, I want to take a sneaky thigh stretch. So I want you to bring your heels close to your bottom and really wide, so your heels are as close to your bottom as you can. Take hold of your ankles if you can and turn your feet out. And then from there, I want you to take your knee down towards the floor. So you're opening across the front thigh, stretching through the front thigh. You can squeeze the underneath bottom, and you can feel like you're squishing your lower spine more down into the mat. So you should get a really nice stretch through the front of the thigh. Bring that leg up and let's change sides. So take the other knee down, reaching the knee down towards the floor. You can squeeze that bottom. So my left knee is down, so I'm squeezing my left glute and seeing if I can squish my lower spine down more to the mat. So I'm opening that thigh. Bring that leg up. Let's just do one more on either side. So taking the right knee down or your first knee down. Trying to resist the temptation to really arch the back, because I don't want you to hurt your back, but also because it gets you a better stretch. But if you're super tight, you might find it's tricky not to arch the back. Just changing the other side. So second knee towards the floor. Good. And then bringing that leg up, and then we're going to change sides for your rotations. So I'm going to put my head up the other end of the mat. You can just roll around and face the other side. So we start with the hands interlaced around the back of the head. Knees are bent up in front of your pelvis. I'll get you to breathe the top elbow up to the ceiling. And then as you turn your chest, feel as if you're shuffling your head back towards the back edge of the mat. And stay in the twist as you breathe in. Notice how it feels on this side. Maybe it feels a bit tighter or a bit stickier. See if you can ease into the twist a little more if you want to. You can hold the top knee with the underhand if you want, breathing in there, and then coming back to your start position. So remembering how that felt, so we can check it after we've done your diaphragm release. So you're going to put your hand on your side ribs, slide your fingers in under the lower ribs, find where the upper abs meet the lower ribs, and just massaging gently or firmly as it suits your body, right down to the outside ribs, and then in under those lower ribs, right into the midline as well. Good, okay. And then we'll hold the fingers in under those lower ribs, and we're going to take 3 breaths. So please breathe down to where your fingers are. As you breathe in, can you feel the fingers get pushed out from under the ribs? Breathe in more, breathe in more. And then exhale. Let it relax, let it soften. Twice more. So breathing in and down to where your fingers are. Breathe in more, breathe in more. Exhale. Let it soften and release and relax. And we'll take one more. So breathing down to where your fingers are. Breathe in more, breathe in more, breathe in more. Exhale. Let that soften. We'll take another twist with the hands around the back of the head. As you lift your elbow, breathe your diaphragm down. Shuffle your head back towards the back of the mat and then easing into the twist. And hopefully you feel a change. Maybe it's easier to twist, maybe it feels less stiff, maybe there's more range. You can anchor the top knee with your underhand. You're going to breathe down into that diaphragm. Exhale, ease into the twist a little further. breathing in again, and coming back to the start position. Okay, so this time we do long arm. So you're going to send top arm out. If you don't have room, or if your shoulder is really sore or vulnerable, keep your hands behind your head. But if you're working with the long arm, it comes up. As you inhale, turn the palm as if towards your ear, and then you shuffle your head backwards, turn your whole chest backwards, and you take your hand up quite high. So it's actually the hand is up by head height. You can bring your underneath arm down onto the top knee to help anchor. You're going to inhale down into your diaphragm here. Now as you exhale, see if you can stretch the top arm, the top hand, and the top knee diagonally away from one another longer, as long as you can. Breathing in here, and then coming all the way back to your start position. Well done. Okay, so we're going to come onto your back. So that was a lot of release work. I hope you're all feeling a bit better through the neck and shoulders, and like you can get a better breath in. So now we're going into some deep core work. I'm going to get you to have your hands down on your lower tummy. So what I would love you to do to start with is breathe in to where your hands are. So you are taking a belly breath as you inhale. You might feel like your belly softens, but I don't want you distending or pooching your belly. So just breathing in, releasing belly, releasing pelvic floor. Now long, slow breath out through your pursed lips. As you exhale, can you aim to gather your pelvic floor? And as you breathe out, feel as though your belly sinks down and hollows back, as though your tummy's lifting up under your belly button. We're going to take this twice more. So breathing in, release tension through the belly, pelvic floor. As you exhale, can you regather? So I often think of this as if you're zipping up pubic bone up under your belly button. So you're getting that drawing in of the belly and the lifting up of the belly as well. Breathe in, release, relax once more. So let go of tension through the belly and pelvic floor as you inhale. And then as you exhale, regather. So more pelvic floor. Breathing out, more lower belly, pulling the belly deeper. Now on this exhale, can you feel the belly pelvic floor are connected? Can you float one leg up? Sorry, this is a long exhale, and down. Okay, we're going to release it, let go, breathing in. Taking it again, exhale, regathering, pelvic floor, lower belly. When you feel that deep core is engaged, then picking up your second leg, keeping that deep core connected, bring it down. This is all on your exhale. Breathe in and let it go. Taking it again, exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly. Feel that connection, and then floating up one leg, keeping that connected, and down. Breathe in, back it off, release the tension. Exhale, regather, finding pelvic floor, lower belly. Feel that deep core support you, picking up the second leg, keeping your deep core connected, don't let it pop out, and down. Okay, so now we're going to I'm going to offer some options. If this is enough of a challenge for you, stick with this. If you want the next step, you're going to put your hands on your side ribs. I want you to breathe down into your diaphragm as you breathe in, allowing the pelvic floor and belly to soften without distending or pooching. So inhale, direct your breath into your diaphragm. Before you float one leg up, you regather pelvic floor, lower belly. Keep breathing out so your ribs narrow, and then float one leg up and down. We're going to take that again. So breathing your diaphragm down. Breathing out, regathering pelvic floor, lower belly, floating up your second leg. All the way up and down in one exhale. Take it again. So breathing into your diaphragm. Breathing out, zipping up, pelvic floor, pulls up under your lower belly, floating up one leg and down. Breathing into your diaphragm. Breathing out, regathering pelvic floor, lower belly on your exhale. Hold that tone through your core as that second leg comes up and down. Okay, so this might be enough for you. So you might stick with single leg. If you want to go the next step, we're going to go to double legs. So still breathing your diaphragm down. Still breathing out, finding that deep core support. So feeling pelvic floor and lower abs. Now, can you bring up one leg? Keeping your abs connected, can you bring your second leg up? You're looking for not letting your tummy pop out. You're going to hold here, breathe into your diaphragm. Stay here, pull your lower belly deeper. Taking one leg down, second leg down. We're going to try that again. If it's too much for you, go back to single leg. So you're going to breathe your diaphragm down as you inhale. As you exhale, find pelvic floor, lower belly, floating up one leg. Second leg, don't let your tummy pop out. Holding here, can you breathe into your diaphragm, pelvic floor releases. Before you take your legs down, pull the lower belly deeper. Taking one leg down, second leg down. We're going to give it one more go. So breathe into your diaphragm, core expands. One more. Exhale, find pelvic floor, lower belly, floating up one leg. Keep your belly connected. Don't let it pop out as your second leg comes up. Holding here, can you stay 3 breath cycles? So breathing your diaphragm down, your pelvic floor, belly expand, but they don't pooch. As you breathe out, you might even put your hands on your lower tummy to feel the lower belly pull deeper back. If you're working single leg, keep one leg down and then change after 2 breaths. So you're going to breathe into the diaphragm. Exhale, pull your lower belly deeper back from your hands. Let's do 2 more breaths. Breathing into your diaphragm. Exhale, pull your belly deeper. Can you lengthen your spine, stretch your head and tail longer apart from one another? One more breath into your diaphragm. One more breath out, pull your belly deeper, deeper, deeper. Keep it deep as you bring one leg down and second leg down. Very nice work. Hopefully you started to feel your lower abs connecting. I'm going to get you to come onto your tummies for me. So you're going to line your bellies. We're now going into a little bit of upper back work. So this is your hanky muscle, and the hanky muscle is really what we've been working on all through the summer season. So this is your upper back strengthening. So if you pop one hand on top of the other hand and your head down on your forehead down on your hands, and visualize for me a hanky, and it's lying on your upper back, and one point of your hanky attaches to the base of the skull. One point of your hanky attaches to the lower ribs, and then one point attaches to each shoulder from side to side. So we're going to feel as if we're creating length and span. Now, I really like to have my legs together for this, but if you feel like it's too much of an effort holding your legs together, it's absolutely fine to just let your legs relax, big toes together, heels flop apart. So you're going to breathe in. Now, as you exhale, I want you to feel as though the base of the skull, the top of the hanky muscle, is stretching forwards, and the base of the ribs, the lowest point of your hanky muscle, is stretching backwards. So it's as if someone's taken hold of your head and your lower ribs and is pulling them apart from one another. And then let it go. So you're not lifting your head yet. So breathing in, can you breathe down into your diaphragm? Breathing out, can you find that deep core, so pelvic floor and lower belly, and now stretching from base of skull to base of ribs, so you get longer through that upper back region. Now just hovering your head slightly off your hands. You haven't come very high, and then bringing your head back down. Let's take it again. So breathing in, diaphragm descends, pelvic floor softens. Long exhale as you breathe out, pelvic floor, lower abs. Find that length of your hanky muscle from base of skull to base of ribs. How long can you stretch that spine before hovering your head just off your hands? We're going to hold your head up here this time. So breathing in, breathing out. Can you pull your belly deeper? Can you stretch your spine longer and start to lift your head a little bit higher as though you're peeling up through each sticky upper back vertebra? Hopefully you start to feel this through your upper back, but not in your lower back. If you're feeling it in your lower back, you need to pull your lower abs in more and anchor your pubic bone down more. Let's hold here and breathe in. Now, before you come down, can you get longer through your spine? And then coming all the way back down. So I want you to hover your nose on the mat, just off the mat, and bring your hands down by your sides, and I do want your legs together touching now. So we're going to roll your shoulders up to your ears, squeeze them back to your shoulders, and then reach your shoulders down the back to the pelvis. Lift your hands up so your hands are at hip height. Palms are facing the ceiling. And I want you to track through your mind's eye your hanky muscle laying on your back body. So you're going long from base of skull to base of ribs, and then wide from shoulder to shoulder. So we're just adding in that width. A lot of times if you look at my shoulders, people keep their shoulders drooping down. So I want you to feel like someone's taken hold of the tips of your shoulders or the tips of the hanky muscle and it's just picking them up to the ceiling. I always feel like this is a smile across my back body, as if my shoulders are just grinning up to the ceiling a little. We're going to hold here. I want you to breathe in. As you exhale, can you pull your belly deeper? Can you stretch your hanky muscle longer and wider? 2 more breaths. Inhale here. Exhale, get longer and wider. 1 more breath in. Get longer and wider. I'm going to get you to turn your palms down, bend your elbows, staying low with your body. I want you to lower your arms towards the floor and then lift your arms up off the floor. Now your arms lower, your elbows and hands lower because your shoulder blades protract or wrap around your ribs, and then they lift back up because your shoulder blades retract or squeeze together. Let's take lower down and lift. 5 and 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Come down, have a little rest. Well done. Okay, so now I know that some of you really like lifting up into extension, so let's do that now. So you're going to have your hands either side of your head. Elbows are pretty much at shoulder height. For this, I suggest having your legs apart, so hip width. Let's have your nose hovering just off your mat and think already into your hanky muscle. So you're going long from base of skull to base of ribs and wide from shoulder to shoulder. So you're active through your hanky muscle. As you exhale, I want you to push your hands and your elbows down and lift your head just a little higher as though you're peeling up through your spine 1 joint at a time. Holding here, breathing in, I want you to push your hands and your elbows down and feel as if you're pulling or dragging your arms back behind you without actually moving them. So that hopefully will pull into that lower hanky muscle. Now for some of you, this will be high enough, and then I reckon you need to come back down. But for others of you, you're going to want to push into your hands and come up a lot higher. Holding up there, squeeze your legs, squeeze your glutes, breath in. And now as you exhale, coming all the way back down. So if that hurt in your lower back, don't come all the way up, just do the halfway position. Let's do it again. So breathing in. As you exhale, lengthen your hanky muscle, hover your head, and then peeling your head up as though stretching your breastbone forwards to the top end of your mat. Holding here as you breathe in, push your hands down, feel as if you're pulling your hands back, come a little higher. So if that's high enough for you, you come down and repeat. If you want to come higher, push your hands down, stretching the elbows straight, lifting that chest up. Good. Nice big breath in. Before you come back down, can you lift your head, chest higher and keep coming longer through your spine as you return all the way down. Let's take it once more. So breathing in, exhale, coming a little bit up. Push your hands and your elbows down, coming higher up. Maybe this is enough for you and you come down and rest. Otherwise, pushing the hands down, stretching the elbows straight, squeeze your glutes. Breath in there, lift your head, chest higher, and then coming all the way back down, coming longer as you come down. Well done. We're going to press back into a shell stretch. So I'll get you to sit your hips back on your heels. You can round your spine. You can let your head just hang down and rest on your hands or on the floor, or you can have your hands beside you, whatever you'd prefer. We'll just take a couple of breaths there. Okay. So while you're down there, let's just do a little lower back stretch. So you're going to walk your hands over to your left side, put your right hand on top of your left hand, and I want you to breathe down into those right lower ribs. Hopefully you feel a stretch down that side, right side body, maybe down into your lower back. And then bring your hands back through center. Put your hands on your right side, so the left hand on top of the right hand. You can let your pelvis swing a little to the left. And now we're looking for the stretch more down into the left lower back, or lower ribs or side body. Come on back to center, and we're going to come up to standing. So we're going to finish with a standing sequence for the hanky muscle, and this is where we will be using your hand weights just to load it up a little bit in as an upright standing position. Okay, so we'll probably go for about maybe another 5 or 6 minutes. All right. So in your upright standing position, I just want you to access that hanky muscle that we were working on laying down on your tummy. So you're going to interlace your hands around the back of the head. And what I want you to do is feel your elbows come forwards, so your shoulders come down. And then I want you to feel as if you're lifting your head right up off your spine. And you hold here. Now, can you hold here and breathe down into your diaphragm? And as you exhale, can you regather and find that pelvic floor and lower belly support? And I want you to add a little bit of pressure, leaning your head gently back into your hands at the same time as pressing your hands gently forwards into your head. So you're creating a little bit of counter pressure between your head and hands. Stay here as you breathe in to your diaphragm. Stay here as you breathe out. Can you get taller? Can you start to feel that hanky muscle lengthening from base of skull to base of ribs? I've just got a really squeaky floorboard. Breath in there. Exhale, get longer, taller. Press your head gently back into your hands. Good. See if you can feel into that hanky muscle. Hold on to it as you bring your arms up. Hold on to your hanky muscle as you bring your arms wide and out to the sides. Reach through those fingers and bring your arms down. So hopefully you've got a sense of the length of the hanky muscle. Let's hope so anyway. And then picking up your little hand weights. So we're going to take this into some squats. So I suggest having your feet wider than your pelvis. Hold your weights to your chest and squat down. Now as you squat down, I want you to keep your knees as best as you can over your ankles, taking your bottom backwards behind you. And then you're going to squat up. Okay, so easy squat. Feel as if you're sitting your bottom into a chair behind you, as opposed to taking your knees forwards. I want you to take your bum back and your knees over your ankles as best as you can. We're going to do 3 more. So inhale, see if you can breathe into the diaphragm as you go down. Now as you exhale, can you regather through pelvic floor and lower belly as you come up? 2 more. So you come down as you breathe in. Core expands. Now before you come up, there's a little exhale to regather pelvic floor, lower abs. Now drive the heels down to help connect into those glutes. Let's do 1 more. Inhale down and then exhale up. We'll come down and hold down there. Okay, so you're going to hold here. Can you breathe in and can you breathe out, feeling the tummy hug in at the same time as pushing your heels down? So hopefully you start to get a little bit of glute work. If your knees are coming forwards, you'll get quads and sore knees. If your bum's going back, you're more likely to get glutes. So drive the heels down and now think into your hanky muscle. So if you look at my shoulders, you don't want to be hunched and rounded. I want you to see if you can lengthen the base of the skull and the base of the ribs away from one another and widen from shoulder to shoulder. So you've got that hanky muscle active. You're then going to straighten your elbows and breathe in. Now as you exhale, I want you to row. So you're going to pull your elbows back, squeeze back into the lower portion of your hanky muscle. Inhale, the arms come down. Now exhale, pull the elbows back. Let's take 5. Inhale down, exhale up. 4. Good. And 3. See if you can lengthen your hanky muscle long from base of skull to base of ribs. 2. And 1. Hold your arms there. You're going to straighten and bend. 5. And 4. Inhale, bend, exhale, straighten. 3 and 2. Keep pushing into your heels, keep sitting into those glutes. 1, keep your arms straight, but bring them down under your shoulders. You're going to widen. 5, exhale, pull your abs deeper. 4 and 3, push through your heels. 2, pull into that lower portion of your hanky muscle. 1, coming all the way back up to standing. Well done, really nice. We'll finish with a little spinal rotation just to ease out of that. So get you to interlace your hands around the back of the head. Nice big breath in. See if you can lengthen from base of skull to base of ribs, and then twist to your right side. Stay here as you breathe in. Lift your chest a little higher. Then exhale, twist a little further. And coming back to the front as you breathe in. Exhale, twist to your left. Stay there, breathe in. Twist a little further. Coming back to the front, you're going to bring your hands, fingertips onto your breastbone. Push the palms forward and out. Pull your shoulders in and widen. How wide can you go with the shoulders? Pull back through your fingertips, pushing through the heel of the hand, finding hopefully a rather uncomfortable stretch. Now squeeze your shoulders back, right back behind you, back, 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 and then bringing them down. Okay, and we will finish there. Thank you so much. So I'm going to stop the recording.